Imagine opening your mailbox and finding a letter that instantly makes your heart sink. It carries the IRS logo, warns about unpaid taxes, and hints that your bank account could be at risk. For many older Americans, that moment feels like the end of the road. But here's what most people never discover. The IRS has powerful collection tools, but it also has legal limits. There are protections written into federal law that can prevent money from being taken, reduce what you owe, or even eliminate certain tax debts altogether. The problem isn't that these rules are hidden, it's that very few people are ever told they exist. Today, we're uncovering the IRS rules that many seniors over 65 never learn, and knowing them could completely change how you respond to a tax notice. Let's start with one of the biggest misconceptions of all. Many people believe the IRS can collect a tax debt forever. That simply isn't true. For most federal tax debts, the IRS generally has 10 years to collect after the tax is officially assessed. Once that collection period expires, the agency usually loses its legal authority to continue collecting that debt. That means no more levies, no more collection actions tied to that specific liability, and in many cases, existing federal tax liens may also be affected. Now, there's an important catch. Certain events can pause or extend that collection period. Filing for bankruptcy, requesting specific types of tax relief, or spending extended time outside the United States can all stop the clock temporarily. And if a required tax return was never filed, the collection period may not even begin until one is submitted. That's why one of the smartest things any taxpayer can do is request their IRS account transcript. It provides key dates that help determine where you stand. Some people spend years worrying about a debt that's much closer to expiration than they ever imagined. But that's only the beginning. Now imagine this situation. A husband always handled the family's taxes. His wife trusted him completely, signed the returns, and assumed everything was in order. Years later, after a divorce or after becoming widowed, she receives an IRS notice claiming thousands of dollars are owed because of errors or omitted income she never knew existed. Most people assume they're automatically responsible because they signed a joint return. Not always. This is where innocent spouse relief can become incredibly important. If one spouse made significant errors, failed to report income, or claimed improper deductions without the other's knowledge, the IRS may relieve the innocent spouse from responsibility for some or all of the resulting tax debt. For seniors, especially widows and divorced individuals who weren't involved in preparing family tax returns, this protection can make an enormous difference. And here's something many people never realize. Receiving an IRS notice does not automatically mean you should immediately agree to every amount listed. Understanding your rights before responding can sometimes change the outcome dramatically. Now, before we continue, there's another protection that becomes even more important if the IRS has already taken action against your bank account, and most people don't hear about it until it's almost too late. If the IRS places a levy on your bank account, it can feel overwhelming. But even then, the situation isn't necessarily hopeless. Federal law recognizes that tax collection shouldn't leave people unable to meet basic living needs. If paying the tax would create serious financial hardship, making it impossible to afford necessities like housing, food, utilities, or essential medical care, the IRS has procedures that may allow collection actions to be modified, delayed, or in some situations released. The key is communication. This independent organization exists specifically to help taxpayers experiencing significant hardship or problems that haven't been resolved through normal IRS channels. They assist people whose cases have become stalled, who are facing financial emergencies, or who simply can't get answers through regular processes. Many taxpayers don't realize this service is available without charge. Sometimes having an experienced advocate involved can help move a case forward when nothing else seems to be working. Now let's talk about something that catches many people by surprise. The amount printed on an IRS notice isn't always made up entirely of unpaid tax. In fact, over time, penalties and interest can grow so substantially that they represent a significant portion of the total balance. That's why penalty relief deserves attention. The IRS offers several programs that may remove certain penalties if specific requirements are met. Here's something else worth remembering. Knowledge creates options. Silence usually removes them. So, if you or someone you know receives an IRS notice, what are the smartest first steps? First, don't panic. Read every notice carefully and note all deadlines. Second, obtain your IRS account transcript so you understand exactly what the agency believes you owe and when the collection period began. Third, if the debt involves a former or deceased spouse, determine whether innocent spouse relief might apply. Fourth, if paying the debt would create genuine financial hardship, communicate that clearly and explore hardship-related collection options. Fifth, review whether any penalties could potentially be removed through available IRS relief programs. And finally, if you're unable to resolve the issue through normal channels, remember that the Taxpayer Advocate Service may be able to help. One final thought before we wrap up. The IRS is one of the most powerful collection agencies in the country, but power doesn't mean unlimited authority. Federal tax law contains deadlines, exceptions, taxpayer protections, appeal rights, and relief programs designed to ensure that collection remains fair. Many seniors lose sleep because they assume every IRS notice represents an unavoidable financial disaster. In reality, some discover their debt is nearing the end of the collection period. Others qualify for relief because of circumstances involving a spouse. Some have penalties removed. Others work out manageable payment arrangements that protect their financial stability. The biggest mistake isn't owing taxes. The biggest mistake is believing you have no rights. The more you understand the rules, the better prepared you'll be to protect your finances, make informed decisions, and respond with confidence instead of fear. If you found this helpful, take a moment to like the video, subscribe for more practical financial updates, and turn on notifications so you never miss information that could help protect your future. And if you've ever dealt with an IRS notice or learned something new today, share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience could help someone else who needs it most.